Hi, everybody. This is Don Schaefer. I am excited once again to be with you. This is another in a series. We're talking about personal transformation that we've been recording. We've been living with the idea that we are all hard drive born into this world that are programmed. And from young on, we're programmed to act in everything we do, how we speak, how we think of things, how we react to things, our actions, everything. Whether we're to be successful, unsuccessful, all of this stuff here has to do a whole bunch with programming. So we've been taking every week and trying to give a different way, a different package or an upgrade to your system to help you think in a better way, to possibly be the best person you possibly can be or the better you. And we've been using the scripture in Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2, where it talks about, Paul is writing to the Romans, says, don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you might be able to prove the good and perfect and acceptable will of God for you. So it's saying basically that we get programmed by a world of thinking. It programs us, but it's many times not correct, and it causes issues in our life, and we are created to be successful. And that's where Paul is saying we need to have our mind renewed or made new or new program, a different upgrade. And I don't know where your upgrades are at, but each week I come up with a different topic and I talk about another upgrade. And this week we're going to be talking about generating power 2.31. Going to be a powerful one, because we all need power in the things we do. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what will generate power in your life to achieve success in areas beyond your imagination, because God is wanting to do the best He possibly can with every inch, every moment, every part of your life. And I've got a quote here from Goethe. It says, "It is not enough to take steps which may someday lead to a goal. Each step must be itself a goal and a step." So what we're going to be talking about is generating power, but we need to have an understanding a little bit of what creates that. And Goethe is saying, basically, it isn't some goal far down the line. Every day is your goal. Every step of the way is a goal in your life. And that's where setting goals creates an energy or a life force into your life. It creates something. Having a compelling goal gives you the purest form of energy known to mankind. It places meaning. It's a state of being for you. All of a sudden, you have a purpose. It is something that drives you. And all of a sudden, every element that is needed starts to flow into your life. The juices get going. God loves goal setters. He loves, because He's given us this process of achieving in life. We're birthed into this life. We're given an opportunity to achieve in life, and goal setting is part of it. And that's where it's the greatest energy source ever given to man, is the ability to set a goal and a plan before us. And that's where this goal setting gives us the energy to create action, to be able to achieve things in life. And a lot of people, when you see people that are it's just not happening, you say, they just don't have the energy. I just don't have the drive. You need to put a plan together. You need to realize how valuable your life really is. And then if you can put a plan together, all of a sudden you've got an energy. I know my own personal life, I've done different things. And I'll just share one. I remember one time I went deer hunting and I went camping, and I seen someone with a camper. And I says, you know what? I wouldn't mind having a bigger camper for deer hunting. And so I set out a goal to start looking, and I did. And I found a little magazine sitting, at the store where they advertised things for sale at that time. This was back in the early 90s, going back a ways. But I found an Airstream camper. This thing was 8 years old. It looked like brand new. And I says, wow. So Shirley and I, we got together, we talked about it. We set out a goal that we wanted to achieve and get this camper. We drove all the way down to Iowa and we looked at this, and there was a parade of people coming in and out of it because the inside was burnt out. The inside was burnt out, and it looked black when you opened up into the inside. And so Shirley and I've had some skills, because I worked with fire trucks and, that type of stuff. So I had some skills going into it. So we put a plan together, and the whole family got energized on this. Shirley did. We gutted that whole thing. We redid the inside, refinished the cabinets, put it all back together, put new flooring in it. My mother helped reupholster all the furniture and stuff inside that place. It turned out beautiful. We used it for 20 years, and we got twice as much for it as what we paid for it when we bought this thing. So we were well pleased. But this was a goal. It was amazing the energy that was stirred up, and just in having the project, just in putting a plan together, creating a vision for ourselves, all of a sudden there was energy all around, and other people that wanted to get involved in it. My dad said she worked until 3 o'clock in the morning on upholstery in this because she got energized in this whole process. And that's what good goal setting and planning does in a person's life. It generates energy. So if you're in a lackadaisical, just don't feel like things are happening, you need to put a plan together. You need to find something. You need to proactively be filling your mind with ideas, creating thoughts that will help invigorate you and make life exciting for you. And that's where goal setting does all that. Setting your mind to thinking of what you want and need. Looking at your life, what do I really want of my life? I'm alive today. Lord, help me understand my purpose. Help me to find a direction and something that I can envision that will create life. And that's where our whole life should be, in the business of setting goals. I set goals for the days of the week. I say to myself, I got big goals, but I've got little goals. And every day, this right here is on my list of things to do today. My goal was to produce this so I could give this to you, to give you some encouragement and give you some energy. But this is the business I'm in. I've set up goals. I go on vacation. I've got plans. It's sometimes sightseeing, but it is plans to put something together because it creates an energy. It gives me a reason for getting up, a reason for the season. It creates things inside. And that's where this programming is so important. And that's where you need to be thinking of everything that you need to do to improve your life. And set some goals, set some steps to go after it, because you'll find that this power, this energy starts to flow in your life. Creating goals without creating corresponding action is a waste of time. Okay, I want to share that a little bit with you too, because it is. If you can set a goal and say, I want to do this by the end of the year, and that's great. New Year's resolutions are famous for this. People say, by the end of the year, I want to be this, I want to be in this shape, or achieve this. But if you don't have an action plan, having good goals and action plans are the key. You got to put action plans together. The action plans actually become your mini goals every day. This is the action that you take. They're linked together, and you can't have one without the other. It's just the way life is. So not only do you need to set up a goal, but you need the action plans or the steps to get there. You need proper actions to achieve proper goals. So you have to realize, okay, this is what I need. And a lot of times I tell people when they get into my classes, if you get a good idea, the best thing you can possibly do is do it as fast as you can. Implement it as fast as you can, because ideas have a life expectancy. A great idea today might not be so great next week, or you might even forget about it. But if you can put it into action as soon as you can benefit from the energy that it'll give you just in doing this. I've had classes where people came up with ideas and they stopped at stores and went to different places on the way home, because I told them 8 hours of sleep sometimes can be a action planner, goal setting killer. This can sound so good, but unless you start putting it into action, because what it does, it creates a momentum. It gets you going. And that's where you get yourself rolling in life, and pretty soon you can't be stopped because this works. The energy continues to flow, and everything you need is there because our Creator wants you to be successful. And another thing I want to mention, you need to set up standards for your life. Standards are setting up things that you will do or won't do. A lot of times people don't set up any standards, so anything can come into their life. And a lot of times, you find that distractions come in. They completely wipe out your plans or whatever it might be. So you need to find and set up some standards. This is what I do. And I know I've taught courses on habits. After a while, it becomes a habit. This is what my habits take over. As far as planning goals, seeking things in life, it's just my habits. It's just what I do. And pretty soon, you've got all the energy you need. And people are seeing it because I can see people. I can see energy in people. I tell people all the time, I love the energy that I see in you. I know we started a podcast a short time ago with a good friend of mine, this Justin. And Justin and I were working a podcast, and I get around people and I talk to people. We've got a calling card that invites people to listen to the podcast, but I see energy in people. I say, you know what? I see energy in you. This might help you a little bit because basically it's a life course. We're talking about things of life. We're trying to help people that live a better life, and the podcast is great. Don't get me wrong. And that's where in this here, I see energy in people. I want to reward them for that. I want to give them something to help them gain more energy. But goal setting and setting a plan for your life, it is an energy maker. And that's where the value of creating a goal in your peak state. Okay, you need to get into a peak state. You can only create your best goals when you are in the best state of mind. That's where I'm hoping you're in a good state. I'm hoping what I'm saying to you is helping you to get in a good state of mind. And if you are, then sit down and start putting some plans together. Don't get yourself grumpy. Don't get yourself negative and all that, and expect yourself to put together good, active goals because that doesn't work. It's depressing. It's all this. And don't start looking at yourself. See, a lot of times in life, we've gotten ourselves in a world a lot of negativity that is destroying our goal-setting possibilities. And therefore, it is leaving us without the energy that we should have in life. We should be pumped up, ready to live life. And that's where, if we can keep ourselves in a peak state, this is what produces great energy in our life because it creates good goals. And that's where every day should be a plan of attack. We should be saying, how am I going to attack this day? What am I going to want to achieve in this day? It makes everything work so smoothly in your life. Yeah, there'll be disruptions, but I got a plan. I'll do this, I'll do that, but I got a plan. Whatever the circumstance might be, I might need to change that plan, but basically, I got a plan. I'm planning my attack for the day. Because I know I've said before that we're in the human race. There's just so much time for us to do. And I've been telling people everybody's got their appointed time. We're going to leave this world someday. I tell people we're not home yet. We're on our way home. But right now is our time for making hay. Our time for achieving and our time to create the greatest energy we possibly can to live the best life we possibly can. Because our life not only invigorates us, but it invigorates everybody that's around you. We become a walking power plant. The energy that's in our life, it is contagious. We're not only helping ourselves to be the better you, but we're helping other people to be the better you in their life. We're allowing and casting energy inside of them. And that's powerful. And that's where in life, if we do what is possible with God, that's when God steps in and does the impossible. If we can stir up enough energy to put a plan together to work a life, in a good possible way, God is wanting to step in and create the impossibilities and give us the ability to achieve things far beyond anything that we could ever imagine or dream of. God wants to do great things. He is a miracle working God, but He wants some energy in our life, and that's up to us. We have to do what's possible. And the more power by generating compelling reasons. We have to have a reason sometimes to achieve great things in life, a good enough reason. And that's where sometimes our reasons just aren't big enough. What is it that we want in life? Most of the times I find the best reasons are something that's going to help other people. We look for a big enough reason of what our life can be in servicing or helping other people. That becomes a mission of love. I know that my wife Shirley and I, we go down to Florida every year. We always call it our mission of love. We're going down there to show a little love to the people that are around us. But it becomes a goal in our life. We start to see, the possibilities of what we can do, and these are compelling goals. These are excelling goals. Sometimes people get selfish in their goals. Sometimes that's not compelling enough, because it's all about you. But if you can get it about other people, that's a compelling goal. And that's a big reason. That's where it will help you to push through the tough times. Anytime you seek a goal and go after something, there's going to be issues and things that rise up, but you need to have enough power to push yourself through it. And as you start to realize that, hey, I got more energy than I need. Whatever happens, I can work it out. Whatever the circumstance will be, it's not going to be the end of me. Because I've got energy. I got stored up energies. I got battery packs, because every day I try to energize myself. I try to envision things. I try to put things into action, allowing things to happen, because I'm constantly trying to generate power, and that's where we start to live life with a passion. We're excited about our life, excited about the time that we are alive right now. And that's where we train ourselves up. We train ourselves up to respond, to work things in our life. Our life becomes everything about generating the goals, the actions, and all kinds of power flowing through us. We become a power plant. And another thing too that helps us, if we can get emotional, if we can allow our emotions to get into it, because so many things in life are achieved just by our emotions being stirred up. And so if we can put a compelling goal together, we can have good emotions and be stirred up and be determined. See, and that's where sometimes we have to be aware of issues and things that will try to undermine what we're going after. We got to keep believing and believing to achieve and all this stuff here, because there are areas in our life, sometimes old habits, ways of looking at things, sometimes even people in our life. We have to be careful. We have to guard ourselves. And I know we've got different upgrades that talked about success by association. Some people are Johnny Downers, and they just bring you down. You have to be careful, because I know myself. There was times in my life I've had great dreams, and they were postponed because somebody said, "You can't do that, Don," and I believed them. And so we have to be careful not to undermine ourselves, not to get into the negative world and allow ourselves to look at ourselves as a failure, because God didn't create failures. The only time we become a failure is when we think we are. So don't get yourself into a spot where you think you're a failure. Things might not work, but a lot of times there's a certain amount of things that you have to have in your life that don't work that gets you to a place where it does work. That's where Thomas Edison said, like, there was 1,000 light bulbs that he worked on that did not work, but one did, and that one there propelled to what we have today as a light bulb. Had Thomas Edison decided to quit early on, he had some power. I know we visited his plant, and this is down in Florida. We visited one of his plants, and it was amazing, because they showed a desk and even showed a picture of him curled up on his desk. He would stay right inside of his plant, his shop. When he was creating things, he was propelled. There was energy. He didn't, they would bring him food to his shop and stuff. He was energized to produce things, and he produced so much. Tremendous example of what we're talking about here in generating energy. And that's where a lot of times we get ourselves into a place where we get ourselves into a place where mentally, we allow ourselves mentally to be taken down. We got to be careful of that. Scripture talks about getting armored up, because we have to generate a faith in ourselves. We have to believe in this. So what I'm saying here is great stuff. This stuff works, generates all kinds of energy, but it's something that you have to believe in. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the process. This is an upgrade, but the upgrade will only work is if you can get yourself into a place. And that's where I know, even Jesus himself back in the day, they preached a message of the possibilities of life. And the people who believe in that, all of a sudden the possibilities open up. That's where I'm hoping you can tap into some of this here, because we're trying to generate a belief to get you to act. Acting as though it's already happening in your life. Powerful stuff. Individuals, how long do you have to wait for things to happen? You can start acting like it's part of you right now. You're generating a faith, and that's where you believing that it's already there. It's happening in your life. You keep your dreams alive. We come to the Bible talks about prayer, and a lot of times people misconstrue this. They get a list of this and that. I pray for Aunt Sally and this and all that. But a lot of times what prayer is just a business meeting with your Lord. It's just a place where you get aside somewhere and you say, Lord, you know what? I am working on this or that. I need directions. Help me to put the right action plans together. Help me to dream big. Help me to set big goals. Help me to achieve everything that you designed me for. Help me to find encouragement. A lot of times in life, wise people will start their day thinking on the things of the Lord, maybe even read some scriptures. I tell people you need sometimes to read positive material or listen to positive classes such as this to encourage you. But you feed yourself with this because you need to develop a faith in you. To become the better you have to develop an identity for yourself where you see yourself in a different way, as an achiever, as someone that's going after things with all the resources, every bit of energy that you're going to need. I pray to God that I tell people, I pray that I don't rust out at the end of life, that I wear out, that I continue to use the equipment that God has given me. And I realize that each one of us are programmed. Each one of us, it's a way of seeing things. We need to get ourselves programmed in a great way. And a lot of times it's done by repetition. Our goals, all the action plans, these things, we need to speak about these, repeat these often. We need to get them in front of us. We need to get them around us. We need to get around people talking about this and that, because you keep these things alive. You keep it alive, and you keep the energy flowing. And that's what we have to do. We need to use these principles in our life to generate the power that we need. And in just giving this message, I'm already feeling the power, and I'm hoping you do too. I want to thank you for being with us. If this resonates, like, share with your friends, and I will be back next week with another upgrade. Thanks for being with me.